Years ago, I wrote how computers, automation, and robotics would steadily take over jobs of labor, what we can call close-ended jobs. In some of my writings, I call them dead-end jobs. Now, look, I appreciate every person and a productive job contributing to society. So I'm just using this in the larger neo-think sense, that it's a dead end. It's like the bake shop. They got that nice little thing going, but it's in perceptual thinking. It's a dead end. They're not spreading all over the country and the world like McDonald's, right? So call it jobs of labor, close-ended jobs, yeah, dead-end jobs. And how, and I wrote how that phenomenon of computers, automation, robotics would push eventually the human race into jobs of the mind. That's really where we need to be. What we'll call open-ended jobs, because our essence is using our minds, it's value creation. So as computers, automation, robotics take over the jobs of labor, it pushes the human race up into jobs of the mind. Here's an example. When I was a young boy, my dad took me on a trip to Detroit. I loved this trip. And it was to a car manufacturing company. And I can't remember which car company. I was very young. But the assembly line stations, and I do remember, I see this vision in this image in my head. They were stationed with men with these long, sort of rubberized aprons, and all the stations were occupied by men. Today, you go to any car manufacturing company, and those stations are occupied by robotic arms. In the future immortalis, all close-ended jobs of labor will be replaced with automation and robotics. The people will be pushed up into the open-ended jobs of the mind. Now, so let us leave the past now and look at the jobs of the future in immortalis, because this gets really interesting. In immortalis, we will be building major projects for humanity. You got a little feel for that when you read Neil Think's Super Puzzle, the Miss Annabelle story. And as you move to the third book of that trilogy, you saw how mankind was involved in building these major super puzzles, major projects to move forward humanity. These projects, now they'll be huge Neil Think super puzzles. I already see a number of them in my mind. And there'll be these huge Neil Think super puzzles for what? For the advancement of humanity. Remember, darkness does not exist in immortalis. The prime law took it away. So people will desire to be part of these massively large projects to benefit humankind. And now I can concretize that. I can show you, we can get a sneak preview of this today, right now, with the response to DOGE, the DOGE hiring project, the Department of Government Efficiency, Elon and Vivek. Ask for people willing to work, get this, 80 hours a week for free with no compensation. I mean, normally you would think if you ask someone to work 80 hours a week for free, no pay, well, they would tell you to go to hell, right? But the response has been overwhelming. Thousands of people, even highly paid professionals, are sending in enthusiastic applications. They're struggling to get chosen by Elon and Vivek. People are excited. Why? Because they want to become a piece to this super puzzle. They want to contribute to moving humanity forward. And that gives us a little concretization, a little peek into human nature and our deep desire to work on something larger than life. Neil thinks super puzzles that help humanity forward. I mean, after all, isn't that why you're here with me today? Because you know what we have here. We have a larger than life Neil thinks super puzzle that's helping move humanity forward to the next level. And then tomorrow in Immortalis, that's going to become our jobs of the future. People want to become a piece, a valuable, meaningful piece to Neothink super puzzles. Today, we already have that with Doge. Those people are so beside themselves, overly enthusiastic, willing to devote themselves 110% to that super puzzle, Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, because they know that's something that's going to push humanity upward. And this, in our anti-civilization, can you believe that? In our world that depends on money to survive, they're giving up their jobs. They're taking 2 years away from being a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant